I'm Diego Novoa, and today's topic is about racism. And here's with me is a Nacho.
Hi.
So, Nacho, do you know about what racism is?
Yes, it's a kind of discrimination.
Okay, and what do you think about racism?
Well, I think that it's a bad thing. The type of thing that don't be exist in this world because make many pain to people. So it's something very bad.
Okay, and do you feel a racist?
Obviously not. I am a very respectful person.
And do you know any case of racism?
Yes. In many places where I have been, I feel different kind of racism and discrimination. Like for the black people, for that color of the skin, black, you suffer discrimination, and this is racist. So it's bad. Obviously. Other kind, I feel the discrimination for the gay people, for coming of our country, or for things in different ways that are per people. So in everywhere we have discrimination, and it's a problem in Chile because the people take the discrimination or the racism like a joke. I think that this is a big problem because they are making suffer so for people, and it's injustice.
Okay, thank you a lot, my friend.
Don't worry.
Do you know what racism is?
I believe racism is when there is a differentiation between ethnicities. For example, you have the black race, you have the white race, you have the Indian race. I believe that racism has to do with different ethnicities.
What do you think about the racism?
I think racism is something that will be no longer one day, and it has been employed in humanity to create differences. And I do not favor it, and I think it should end.
Do you feel a racist?
Not at all.
Why not?
I just don't believe in racism. I think that everybody, even though there are differences, everybody is equal, and racism, in a certain way, suggests that there are some groups, some races that are better than others, and I completely disagree with that. I think everybody has the same worth.
Thanks. Do you know any case of racism?
I remember living in the United States for several years, and there used to be a lot of racism amongst white people and black people. I'm not sure if this would also be a kind of racism. The Germans, the Nazis against the Jews. Those are the first or the examples of racism that come to my mind right now.
Ignacio, do you think this huge problem will finish at all someday?
I do. How many years it will take for humanity to wake up and realize it? It could be 100 years, it could be 10,000 years. but I do think that one day there will be no racism.
Okay. Ignacio, what do you think the church expects about the racism?
What do I think the church expects about racism? I think it expects racism to end one day, because racism only divides people. There is no peace in racism, and the church promotes peace and unity. So I think that the church expects for racism to end one day.
How do you think racism starts in a person?
I think racism starts in a person when they hear the concept from somebody else, from somebody maybe they admire. Like a child may become racist because they hear their parents speak in such a manner that would suggest that racism is a good thing or it's okay. Or maybe they see it on television or on the radio or some kind of advertisement. So I think they learn racism. They are educated from some source to believe in racism, to think it's normal, to think it's good, when it's actually not.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Magdalena, do you know what racism is?
For me, racism is when you hate or have a prejudice for a person of another culture or another race.
Okay.
¿Qué piensas que es el racismo? Es el odio innecesario a otras razas. ¿Te consideras una persona racista?
No, para nada. Solo bromeo con cosas racistas, pero no me considero uno de ellos.
¿Cómo crees que es tomado en nuestra sociedad el racismo?
Bueno, estamos en una sociedad súper racista. Entonces la gente está muy acostumbrada a ver actos racistas y no hace nada.
¿Crees que el racismo terminará algún día?
No, porque estamos en una sociedad súper discriminadora, intolerante, xenofóbica, las tiene todas.
¿Cómo piensas que una persona empieza a ser racista?
Bueno, yo opino que desde la crianza o de forma social o también por un sentimiento postraumático. Uno, y eso demuestra cierta pobreza mental.
¿Qué sientes cuando ves un acto racista?
Cuando yo escucho a una persona racista me da pena, y cuando veo un acto racista me da rabia.
What do you think about racism?
I think racism is terrible for men and society. I think it has a lot to do with ignorance, with prejudice and with fear. I think people usually fear what they don't know and what's different. And when someone meets another person that's from, like I said before, a different culture or a different race, if you don't know what it is about, you can easily be scared and be a racist.
Do you feel a racist?
I don't feel a racist, but I think sometimes without wanting it, we say things like racist jokes, or you say something racist about another person, even if you don't think you're a racist. I think language can be very racist sometimes.
Okay. Do you know any case of racism?
Yes, well, when we talk about racism, we usually think about the Jews and the Holocaust, or maybe we think about black people in United States or in South Africa. But I think here in Chile, we have a lot of racism with immigrants, Peruvians, people from Bolivia. I think Chileans are more racist than they think.
How do you think that we can stop it?
I think the only way to stop racism is with education. As I said before, I think racism has a lot to do with ignorance, with prejudice and with fear. And I think if we create a conscience in our children that we are all human, we are all equal, doesn't matter if we are black, white, disabled, whatever, I think racism will stop.
Okay. Do you think that racism will finish at all someday?
I think it's possible. Maybe it's difficult, but I have faith in human beings. And as I said before, I think education has a very important papel or role in the end of racism. I think someday it will stop.
Okay. What do you think the church expects about racism?
I'm not really sure what the church as an institution thinks or has, or if it has done something about racism. I think the church now is trying to be not racist. They have priests and nuns all around the world. But if we consider the church, all the people that are Catholic, you and me, I think we can do something about racism. And we can change it. We don't have to wait for the institution to tell us what they think or what they do.
Okay. How do you think the racism starts in a person?
I think mostly in the family, because family is the first source from where you learn. That's why I think you have to be very careful with language, because sometimes we say to children things we think aren't important or that they don't listen, but that's what they learn. And then society, I think racism is everywhere, in movies, in TV, in everywhere, but I think family is the first source where you learn that type of things.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss.
You're welcome.
Do you know what racism is?
Yeah, it's a discrimination to the people that have different color of skin. It's motherfucker.
Good to know, yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what racism is?
Yeah, it's a discrimination to the people that it's different than us.
Okay. What do you think about the racism?
I think that it's the bad side of the people in the earth.
Okay. Do you feel racist?
Yeah, sometimes, but it's just for jokes.
Okay. Do you know any case of racism?
Yeah, for example, a classmate who discriminates all the classmates in the school that have black skin.
Okay. What do you feel when you see a racist act?
I feel bad for the victim, and I feel so angry with the people that discriminate another people with another color of the skin, for example.
Okay. How do you think that we can stop it?
The way to stop it is doing a change of mind in all of us.
Okay. Do you think that the racism will finish at all someday?
I don't think so. It's very hard.
Okay. How do you think the racism started in a person?
I don't know. I think that it's like a irrational hate.
Okay, thank you.
Maria Trinidad, do you know what racism is?
Yes, it is a problem of the society, and some people think that other people is worse of them because they have another kind of skin or they have another cultura, and that kind of people is not so good like them, and it's a problem because they are very bad between them.
Okay. What do you think about racism?
I think that it's a bad thing because the people don't love between them. So they are fighting and they have problems because they don't accept the other. And if you don't accept other people, you don't accept yourself. Yes, I think that sometimes I am racist because sometimes I think that I am best of another people, and that's not true. But it's a feeling. You can't do anything for that. But that don't mean that you have to be bad with the other people, because you know that that feeling is bad.
Do you know any case of racism?
Yes. In America, they have a problem 50 years ago with the black people. They were discriminated a lot, and with the Nazis, they discriminate the people of los judíos. And in Chile, the people of Peru and Bolivia, they are discriminate of their raza too.
Okay. How do you think that we can stop it?
I think that we can stop it with best education. Because if we taught the children to be kind with the other people, you can generate a society of love and not of fight between the people.
Do you think racism will finish at all someday?
No, I don't think that, because the world is not doing anything to be better in this problem. If the different countries will do anything for this, yes, we can do it. But in this moment, anybody are doing anything for solutionar this problem.
Okay. What do you think the church expects about racism?
I think that the church say that we have love to other people, so the racism is bad for the church. I think that they could be a people that are doing some kind of, they are doing algo, something for be better in this problem.
Okay. How do you think racism starts in a person?
I think that sometimes it can start for the parents, because they have to educate their children, and if they say them that the other people is bad for their kind of piel, skin, they are doing that the children are bad people, and those can think that they aren't best of another people only for their color skin or their eyes. Yes, and sometimes it can start for a feeling to the people, for the people, of the people, that they think that they are better for anything, and if they can think that other people is worth of them, they will do it.
Okay. Thank you very much, Maria Trinidad. Take care.
Thanks.
Do you know what racism is?
Yes, it's a discrimination to another person.
Okay. What do you think about the racism?
I think that is something that should exist.
Do you feel a racist?
I don't think so.
Do you know any case of racism?
Yes, when the white people discriminate the black skin people.
Okay. What do you feel when you see an act of racism?
I feel bad because didn't have the fault.
How do you think that we can stop it?
Teaching more the society, I think.
Okay. How do you think the racism starts in a person?
It starts when other person influences the option of others.
Okay. Do you think the racism will finish all someday?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, thank you.
So, Paula, do you know what racism is?
Yes, I know what it is. It's a belief based on discrimination.
Okay, and what do you think about racism?
I think it is the worst feature a person may have.
Yeah? Do you feel a racist?
I try not to be a racist, but I think we all have that kind of features, but you have to control them.
Okay. And do you know any case of racism?
Well, I haven't seen a case of racism.
Yeah. What do you feel when you see a racist act?
I feel very angry. I feel very angry, not hungry, angry.
Okay. And how do you think that we can stop it?
I think that if a person travels to another country, it opens his mind. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. And how do you think the racism is taken in our society?
I think if you say you're racist, you're a bad person, but I think a lot of people is racist. You know, we treat different to Peruvian people, to Bolivian people, and I don't think that's good.
Okay. Do you think the racism will finish out at all someday?
I don't know. I think that's really utopic because nobody knows.
Yeah. What do you think the church expect about the racism?
I think church is a way. It's the situation where you can be racist without feeling a bad person.
Yeah. And how do you think racism starts in a person?
I think it starts, well, by cultural feelings, and I think when you have a bad experience with someone who has a specific characteristic, you start thinking that all these persons with this characteristic are the same, and I think that's where it starts.
Okay, thank you very much, Han.
You're welcome.
Do you know what racism is?
I
I believe racism is when people from other cultures are not respected.
Do you feel a racist?
Yes, because I never share with black people.
Do you know any case of racism?
No, I not really.
What do you feel when you see a racist act?
I feel sad, but I can't do anything.
How do you think that we can stop it?
When they respected themselves.
How do you think the racism is talking in our society?
It's a big problem, but no solutions.
Do you think the racism will finish at someday?
Maybe, but it's difficult because it is a problem in a big culture.
How do you think racism starts in a person?
When that person starts chatting with other people different than him.